Hello, welcome to Lazy Girl Reads' very last installment for the 2023 Spookopoly-a-thon. And a final thank you to Becca and the Books for creating this game. This was my very first read-a-thon, and I really had a good time with it. So the last roll that I did, as you may recall, or if you don't recall, you can go back and look at the last video. The last roll I did, I got candy corn, and the prompt for candy corn is that you're supposed to read a book that is sweet. So for that prompt, I read Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. Yeah, Gilmore. And it's a cozy romance. It was very sweet, very cute. I think the cat's going to be jumping up here in just a second. You could probably hear her talking to me. Whenever I talk, she thinks I'm talking to her. So anyway, Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So this is the love story of Jeannie and Logan. And in this story, Jeannie's aunt retires. Here we go. She also wants to be a part of this. In this story, Jeannie's aunt retires and leaves her leaves is weird, right? Because she's not dead. Like, she's just retired. But when she retires, she has Jeannie come and she's giving her her cafe, which is called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And all of the businesses in this town have like cute little precious names like that. So anyway, she has the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and because of her aunt's retirement, she is now coming to take it over and to run the cafe. So she's living in the apartment above the cafe, because in these type stories, there's always an apartment above the cafe, right? She is living in the apartment above the cafe and running the cafe. And so there's a whole cast of characters in this town, and she joins the gossipy little book club and has a great time with that. Like, everyone is very nice and very quirky. You know, they all have kind of their little things, but it's a very cute cast of characters. The friend group is super fun. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with them. Logan is the very hot, very grumpy farmer who provides produce for her and a number of other people in the town, and is a local boy, grew up there. Everybody knows him, knows, all the things. And everyone was there to witness his most embarrassing moment of his life that I won't say because I don't want to spoil it, but you learn about it fairly quickly in the book. So the whole town was on hand, or majority of the town was on hand to witness his most embarrassing moment. So he is a little closed off as a result of that. He has a fun best friend who kind of calls him out at one point. And so that's interesting too. But it's a fun love story. Like, you see them and they have kind of a little meet cute to a certain extent. He's very grumpy. She's over dramatic. It's a fun time. And she gets a cat. Is it a cat? Or a dog? No, I think it's a cat. And along the way, and it's just a good time. So I had a fun time with it. This was a buddy read for me. I read this with my cousin, and I always have a good time when I'm buddy reading with her. So we chose this book together, and it was our buddy read for the month of October, and it worked perfectly for this prompt as well. So anyway, it was fun. Like, it was cozy, it was sweet. It is the first of a series. I'm questioning myself right now because I can't remember if it's just a duology or if it's a series, but I think it's a series. So I probably will read the next one. I had a good time with it. It's a fun, like, Saturday, Sunday, grab a tea or a coffee or a cider or a adult beverage of your choice, and cuddle up under a blanket and, just have a fun time. Like, that's the kind of book this is. So I probably will read the next one the next time that I'm in the mood for just a nice little fun palate cleanser. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. So that was the last book for me in this year's Spookopoly. That's fulfilled my final role for that. And I got the cat over here. I don't know if you can see her. I don't know if she's in frame or not, but she's right here. Anyway, so to recap the books that I read for at Becca and the Books Spookopoly game this year, I read, let me look at my list. Let me grab my list so that I don't mess it up. I read One Little Mistake by Avery Maxwell, and that was romance, and it was very fun. I had a good time with it. I read Salt House Place, which is suspense thriller kind of book that was very very much wrapped around a cult and some of the well, not just some, a lot of the goings on with regard to the cult. There are a lot of shady people doing a lot of shady shit in Salt House Place, so it's a little bit of a wild ride because of that. But that was the second book I read. The third book I read was Wild Scottish Night by Trisha O'Malley. I'm looking down. Oh, I forgot to say, Salt House Place is by Jamie Lee Sohn, and Wild Scottish Night is by Trisha O'Malley. I'm looking down because I want to make sure I get these authors' names correct. They were so nice to write books and get them published so that we could have them to read, and I don't want to mess that up. So that was a good time. That was about inheriting a Scottish castle and getting some magic and protecting people from the Kelpies and protecting magical artifacts. That was a really good time. Then I read The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis, and that I read because it has a beautiful cover, which it does, and that had a teeny bit of magic, and was about the love story of Belle and Hemi and their different perspectives on it, as well as Ashlyn. Ashlyn is our main character in that. And Ashlyn's journey as she learns their story and starts to uncover who they really are. And then Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore, which I just talked about. So those were the 5 books that I read for Becca's Spookopoly. I know there are probably a million videos out there with a lot of different people who read a lot of different books, but those are the ones I did for my very first read-a-thon. I had a really good time with this. It was a lot of fun, and I probably will do some more reading challenges or read-a-thons or reading prompts going forward because I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I did see a prompt that talked about no fiction November or non-fiction November, which I read majority fiction books. So I probably won't do no fiction November because I will definitely. I've already read some fiction books in November, so I'm not doing that. But I will pick out some nonfiction books to read for nonfiction November and pepper those throughout. So get ready for that little. What do you call it? Coming attractions here on Lazy Girl Reads. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much to Becca and the Books. I had a good time with this. Thank you for creating this game. I hope you all had a good time watching me and read and listening to me, hearing me talk about the books that I read and what I liked and what was fun about them. And I guess if I have to pick a favorite of all 5 books that I read for this Spookopoly-thon, probably Wild Scottish Night was probably my favorite of all the books that I read for this Spookopoly-thon. It is a series that I will definitely be reading the next one. I want to see a little bit more magic. I'm hoping there's more magic to come. But that friend group was, of all the friend groups, my favorite. They were so much fun. They seemed like people that I would hang out with. And so I will for sure be going back to that one. So I would say of all the 5 books that I read, I had a good time with all of them for different reasons, but I would say Wild Scottish Night was my favorite of the 5 for this Spookopoly read-a-thon. So there you go. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed your time here with Lazy Girl Reads, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.